He's experienced. He's so smart. He have everything in a fighter, a complete fighter. He don't have power in the punches, but sometimes you don't need it. You know, when you that kind of fighter, you don't need it.
He knows distance well, and I don't think the other guys can like reach him or capitalize off of it.
Now, everybody's saying decision. Could a stoppage be on the table? Because you said like frustrate him.
Yeah, for sure. A stoppage is always in the works. These guys fighting with ounces on no head gear. Anything can happen in boxing. Just be himself. Be him. Don't listen to the crowd. Don't listen to these fans. Don't listen to these haters, these saying daughters. Just be him. Do what he do best, and that's one.
Is more of a fighter. Like he's a ring generalship. He's in there thinking. He's calm. He's having fun because Teofimo's been proving it before. And I gotta emphasize this. If someone can pull it off, it's definitely Teofimo Lopez. If Teofimo Lopez doesn't do it, I don't see who is gonna beat Shakur Stevenson.
Look, here's what most boxing insiders are saying right now. Teofimo Lopez has all the tools to completely dismantle Shakur Stevenson. We're talking about Lopez's fight IQ, his ability to move and cut angles, plus that aggressive mentality that could totally break down Stevenson's defensive game.
Coach Teofimo showed you that he can fight inside, he can fight outside. He would have the advantage of power in this fight. You know one thing that I love about this fight, Bud? Shakur's very athletic, very talented. So is Teofimo. He's more explosive with power, but Teofimo is very athletic. He is very talented. You got two athletic guys, two talented guys. Again, Teofimo I would favor with the power. This is going to be interesting.
Here's where it gets real interesting, though. Teofimo's got that natural frame and power advantage working for him. When you stack that up against someone like Shakur, who's skilled but doesn't carry the same physical presence, the math starts looking pretty one-sided.
But Teos, he's a very special athlete. And as a competitor, he is one of those guys who saves his A game for a fellow elite opponent. That's when he really rises his game and shows us the Teofimo Lopez that everybody thought he was when he was a prospect. People used to look at him and say, oh, this guy is going to be the star in boxing. It didn't really play out that way, but every now and then he reminds us how special he is.
Yes. Teofimo is a two-division Ring Magazine champion. In both fights where he won the Ring Magazine championship, he was the underdog. 4-1 underdog against Lomachenko. People forget, Lomachenko was taking elite fighters in the lower divisions and they were quitting.
Yes.
He was beating them into some, they were like, I can't do this, right? And Teofimo beat him. Right, he outboxed him.
Yeah, he didn't do it by physically imposing himself on him.
He outboxed him, he outfought him, he had speed, power, and then again against Josh Taylor at junior welterweight, he was the underdog. So he saves his best for his biggest moments.
Lopez has been crystal clear about his game plan, too. He wants to turn this into a dogfight and force those heavy exchanges. At 140 pounds, he's planning to use every ounce of that size and power to mess with Shakur's timing and land those fight-ending shots. He's not looking for a decision here.
Shakur is a very talented, skillful, technique fighter.
Yeah.
Can't take anything away from it. However, scared to get hit. Scared to get knocked out in front of the world. Scared to get touched up in front of the world.
Are you saying that off of the last fight or just
in general?
In general.
In general.
Yeah.
In general, me and Shakur sparred before. We did 3 rounds, and it was just light work. And me trying to figure out his jab. Does he have a good jab? Yeah, he does. But once you pass his jab, it's game.
Shane Mosley dropped some serious wisdom about this whole situation. He thinks Shakur might be walking into a nightmare by taking this fight at 4. It's not that Mosley doubts Shakur's skills, but moving up in weight changes everything about how your body performs.
I don't think that. Well, maybe. I mean, Shakur might show some different, if he has to go after Teofimo, he might show some different type of heart that we haven't seen or different type of fighting we haven't seen. And vice versa, whereas Teofimo's hitting him with different shots off the angle, that is kind of giving, Shakur Stevenson trouble. We'll see about that. So we just don't know.
Yeah, the thing is I think people overlook of Teofimo is he can box when he wants to. Like, he's shown he has a slick style too when he wants to do that.
When he wants to do that. So if you have a slick style and you got power and you got the speed too, and you're fighting at 140, so let's see. I don't know if Shakur Stevenson is going to get slower moving up in weight or not, where Teofimo can hit him. Maybe he was really fast at 130, 26-30, maybe 35, but 40, you put on a little bit more weight. I think that he holds the weight probably really, really good, but you just don't know.
Other fighters who've made similar weight jumps are sounding the alarm bells. They're warning that Shakur could lose that crisp footwork and those lightning-fast reflexes that make him so dangerous. Meanwhile, Lopez is already a natural at this weight, where he combines speed with serious punching power.
Let me put this scenario. What if it's the Teofimo that beat Lomachenko? What if that Teofimo shows up?
Like I said, at Lomachenko, it's a not easy fight. Teofimo was able to be in the ring with different type of fighters and figure it out. The fighters that Shakur Stevenson was in with, they couldn't figure it out or get close to figuring it out. Whereas Teofimo had to figure out that type of style, and Lomachenko is a hard fight to fight. So that's why this fight is so interesting. And for Shakur Stevenson to move up to 140 to fight him is definitely a hats off to him.
Do you have a favorite on paper in that fight at all, Shane?
I believe it's 50-50. It's a fight that I just have to sit down and watch and just want to see, like I said, who imposed their will on the other.
Andre Ward broke it down perfectly when he said this fight comes down to the smallest details. We're talking execution, timing, and who shows up in better condition. Skill-wise, these two are basically even when you look at elite-level boxing.
I respect them both because Teo knows it's going to be a real fight. Shakur knows it's going to be a real fight. And I look at Shakur like a fighter who has a blank canvas. He's got the IQ, he got the experience, and the athleticism and the skill set where he can paint any type of picture he wants to on a blank canvas. When I look at Teofimo Lopez, he's almost that. He has a blank canvas, but he needs an outline on what to draw and what to paint inside the line. Now, every now and again, he'll go away from the outline that he has and he'll do something dope and you'll be like, oh, that was cool. That wasn't on the outline right there. But I don't think that he can create on the fly like a Shakur Stevenson. But what he does bring to the table and what Shakur does have to deal with is explosive power, quick twitch, muscles, and the type of punches that he likes to throw. And Teo doesn't have the foot game that Shakur has, but he's got a decent foot game.
Here's something Max Kellerman pointed out that's really smart. Shakur's walking into this with way more pressure because everyone expects him to outbox Lopez with that technical style. Teofimo's in the perfect prison as the underdog where he can just let it all hang out and take big risks.
Where Shakur is fighting to protect that perfect record, to protect that kind of sense that he's the next guy. On the other hand, Teo is like he can fight with more abandon against Shakur because there's so much for him to gain. And if he loses, he's lost before. He lost to Kambosos.
Ali Amin Aji had an interesting take on the whole thing. He acknowledges that Shakur's defensive abilities put him in a special category that's really tough to crack. But he also thinks if Teofimo shows up with his absolute A game, he's got the tools to pull off the upset.
Teofimo is at his most dangerous when he's counted out. And this is going to be one of those fights where he's going to be counted out. Because Shakur is looked at by and large as the guy who can dominate boxing in this generation, right? It's just a matter of him getting the opportunity. I myself have felt that he's the guy who could and should be dominating boxing if he gets the right matchups. But bro, this is one of the rare matchups, if not maybe the only matchup, where I feel like is a big threat here to Shakur. And then they would all come undone only because of this reason. Teofimo Lopez, we've seen him at his best, but he typically brings out his best characteristics when he's back against the wall and he's counted out. And he's going to be counted out in this fight. By and large, people are going to side with Shakur in this fight to win the fight because he's the more consistent fighter. He's the more class fighter overall. And he's just so damn good. There's just something about Teofimo, man. He brings out a different level and somehow supersedes that guy who is that damn good. I've seen it. We've seen it already. I'm not saying anything that anybody else hasn't already seen. Okay, I'm just stipulating it. I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't know who wins this fight. Because again, your better head says Shakur, but then you think about, man, Teofimo. Again,
he's got the X factor.
He's got the talent to. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah.
Shakur is extremely talented and could be the face of boxing as far as being that good and being that dominant, even though no matter how good you are. But this is one of the rare fights where you can get beat. And I don't ever want to hear any of you tank nut huggers that he fights one Uber driver after another. If Shakur Stevenson loses this fight, I don't ever want to hear any of you saying, oh, what about Shakur now? Tank this, tank that.
Now, here's the flip side. Even though Teofimo brings that explosive power and knockout threat, he's got to deal with Shakur's elite defensive system. Stevenson's whole strategy revolves around controlling the distance, making opponents miss, and staying out of danger zones.
Okay, with that being said, then what does Teo got to do to win?
He has to get Shakur up. How would I say this? I don't want to just make it seem like come across as if Shakur is novice, but the times that Shakur is putting himself against the ropes, this is the time that Teofimo is going to have to depend on his explosiveness. He's going to have to depend on his offset lead right hands. He's going to have, but even doing that, everything with Teo comes off his front foot, his explosiveness, his speed, everything. So it's almost like whenever the times he get Shakur up against the rope, he got to pick his shots well, but then after that, he have to be ready to defend, because with Shakur, the return is always coming. So he got to go into the offensive lane, but he have to go into it with good defense, which in my opinion, he really don't do that good when he's going into offense. He usually come in to an offense lane, like with his lead hand down, coming with head movement. But I just believe when you do get closer to Shakur, he's going to have to overload with work. He's going to have to really double up with one hand. He's going to have to use his feet, bust angles, things of that nature. So
Devin Haney made a crucial point about what Lopez needs to do differently. He said Teofimo has to throw way more punches and stay aggressive for the full 12 rounds. Lopez definitely has the power to hurt people, but his work rate in recent fights has been pretty inconsistent. Against someone like Shakur, who excels at movement and counterpunching, you can't afford to take rounds off. Lopez needs to keep constant pressure and force exchanges instead of waiting at perfect moments. That's the only way to disrupt Shakur's rhythm and prevent him from getting comfortable.
That's a great fight for boxing. I'm excited to see that. Styles make fights. I think Shakur is just a more superior boxer. I think that Teo is athletic and he has skills, but I see Shakur winning.
You think Teo, to win a fight like that, would have to be a little bit more active? It seems like he likes to throw one punch at a time.
Yeah, I mean, I think that he could be athletic, but I think he would just have to be, it would have to be a method to his madness for sure. I don't think athletic would just win.
Lopez got really personal when talking about this fight. He's making it clear that nobody's taking this belt from him after everything he went through to get it. He's talking about years of sacrifice, pain, and grinding to reach this level. For him, this isn't just business, it's about protecting something he built with his own hands. Lopez sees this as a test of everything he stands for as a fighter.
Being in the ring, yes. Shakur Stevenson.
Bruce Carrington pointed out something really important about Lopez's weak spots. Even though Teofimo's got incredible athleticism and punching power, he's always had trouble with fighters who constantly switch angles and refuse to stay in one place. Shakur's composure and tactical awareness could really exploit this. If Stevenson can make Lopez chase him around the ring and force him to overcommit on his shots, Lopez might end up fighting frustrated instead of fighting smart.
Hearing that you did link up today, a face-off happened between the two of you?
Face-off happened, things of that nature, just to create the things that are in motion already. So we're really adamant about fighting each other next, and I can't wait for us to really lace it up. And I see him across the ring, and really when that bell rings, lights out for him.
What's it like seeing him now kind of face to face? When you look at him, what do you see? Because obviously you're not locked in just yet, and the closer it gets to a fight, obviously things turn a little bit. But when you do look at Shakur, what do you think of him?
I think I don't think too much of it. You know, I think that he believes in himself. That's one thing. But I'm here to destroy his dreams and all that he wants to do and become. You can't take this from me. I worked very hard for it. I've bled for this, you know, and I'm not taking nothing from him, but I just believe that what's gonna happen next is for destiny in the boxing ring to decide. Let the people really see what it was and has always been: the best fighting the best, and the winner becomes the man or the woman.
Yeah. Fighting Shakur Stevenson, he is an exceptional fighter. He comes under a lot of criticism, though, for his style of fighting. Some people describe him as a boring fighter. How do you think the fight between you two will play out, and what do you think needs to happen to negate people saying that about that fight?
No, that's a thoughtful question. You know, honestly, it's a real nice assessment to see how everyone looks at a certain fighter, right? And I think that holds on to Shakur Stevenson when people say he's boring or he's not as entertaining. And I think that with a fighter like himself, you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. He's undefeated for a reason, you know. Maybe some people don't like it, but this is why the takeover is here, you know, to make it at least fun and make it great. And do what I can to engage on that. Now, how do we do that? Well, you guys got to tune in.
Greg Hackett gave his prediction, and he's leaning toward Shakur winning on the scorecards. He thinks Shakur's discipline and ring intelligence will be the deciding factors. But Hackett's not sleeping on Teofimo either. He knows that one perfectly timed shot, or a sudden burst of activity, could flip the entire fight. Hackett believes Shakur understands exactly how dangerous Lopez is, and will prepare like his career depends on it.
I feel like Teo is going to bring the fight. He's very athletic. You know, he has a lot of explosiveness, and but I do feel like when it comes to Shakur, bro, his movement may frustrate him. The only thing that worries me when it comes to Teofimo is his frustration. Like, is he going to be able to work well with a mover? You know, we've seen, you know, difficulties that he had with Sandor Martin. We've seen the difficulties that he had with Jimmy Ortiz, guys that's been moving around and not staying still. Like, if you keep Teo moving around and he can't plant his feet, what can he do? We're going to have to find that out on, you know, January 31st. And I think Shakur, he's probably one of the best guys to, you know, move his feet, be on defense, being hella patient and frustrating a fighter, bro. Like, so we got to see what his mentality is going to be like come January 31st.
Do you think that his experience on the biggest of stages, you know, his two biggest wins, he was an underdog. And both guys, ironically enough, were southpaws like Shakur. That play any factor to you, man?
Nah, styles is different. The styles are totally different. Lomachenko don't fight like Shakur. Josh Taylor don't fight like Shakur. Like I don't see, just because southpaw, that same thing will happen. I feel like certain techniques could be used to fight Shakur, yeah. But in terms of like that approach of the fight, nah. Like Shakur fights totally different. You gotta be able to do some out of pocket stuff with Shakur. You gotta throw while he's throwing. That's probably some of the only times that he's able to get hit. You know, only time he's open. So
the thing about Lopez is he brings that explosive power and forward pressure that can end fights instantly. But here's his problem. He tends to struggle when opponents refuse to stand and trade with him. Shakur's whole system is built around controlling space, moving at different angles, and making aggressive fighters miss their best shots. If Stevenson can keep Lopez guessing and force him to reset his offense over and over, Lopez might find himself swinging at air more often than landing clean.
Yeah, my first mind told me Shakur, and I thought about it. Yeah, I'm picking Shakur by decision, but because this is fighting, anything can happen. You can't count Teo out. So there is thoughts sometimes that cross my brain, like, damn, what if Teo catch him like real good though? You know what I mean? And hurt him, or what if he just out hustling? You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's a lot of shit across my mind, but I still like Shakur for the dub. I like Shakur for the dub because he knows how to win. Like, he knows how to win. You know what I'm saying? And he's always prepared to win. So, and I think Shakur respects Teo to the point where he gonna train like he's never trained before, because this is a great fight for him. This is probably the best fight of his career. When you put Magic and Bird together, it happens. You know what I'm saying? And that's the kind of situation it is. Magic Johnson was nice, but Larry Bird was nice. You put them together, you get a nice game. I mean, so you put these two together, you get a nice fight.
Is this one of the fights that we're going to remember historically? Like, is this a, you know,
to go back and
it's
study.
19, it's 19, when did Leonard and Hearns first fight? Is this one of them?
That shit was like 87 or some shit. Yeah.
It's 19.
Like 87 or something. 86,
No, it had to be earlier than that, right?
84
The first
maybe.
one? Yeah, like
I don't know, because he was in the 76 Olympics. Well, no, 70.
Wasn't it 78?
No, they ain't fighting 78.
No, I'm saying 78 Olympics. Wasn't he?
Probably 78 or some shit.
Lopez thinks he knows why Shakur took this fight. He believes Stevenson watched Terence Crawford's big victory and decided he wanted to make his own statement by beating a dangerous opponent. Lopez claims Shakur sees this as his chance to prove he belongs at the very top level. According to Teofimo, Shakur's looking to expose himself to big risks because he wants that signature win.
I think Shakur Stevenson can win this on points, Spencer, but he's going to have to be at his very, very best. As we look at these images of the two men, this is the fight that ignites the American market this year. It's obviously got the backing of Turki Al Sheikh, Ring Magazine. The key for me is, can Shakur be big enough to withstand what Teo is going to bring physically as well as psychologically and technically in this fight?
Absolutely, and that's the fascination surrounding this fight. You look at this one and you say, Shakur Stevenson, if he can step up another weight division and become 4-weight world champion, this is his chance now to become that superstar, that all-time great. You know, not just a generational great, but an all-time great. And I've really believed that. Like I've always said, Shakur Stevenson for me will emerge as this great fighter, and I think this is his fight right now. I think that he wins this fight as well.
Robert Garcia, who trains some serious killers in this sport, made his pick public. Even though he admits Shakur is the more technically sound boxer, Garcia's going with Lopez to get the victory. He likes Lopez's mentality and that warrior spirit that shows up in big moments. Garcia thinks Lopez's confidence and willingness to throw power shots under pressure could be what makes the difference when the lights are brightest.
I believe in me before anybody else believed in me. Shakur is stepping up because he got nobody else to go after. He's stepping up to try to prove a point. You know, his big bro, a.k.a. Terence Bud Crawford, you know, put a huge upset and made a historical moment in time. I think those things like that make Shakur want to step up the plate, step up to the challenge, and face Teofimo. Who is I? I mean, we were stablemates, me and Shakur, top rank. He talks about this and that and about I was jealous of him. No, I'm not. You were a 2016 USA silver medalist. You're going to get your signing bonus and all that extra stuff. Thing was, they were trying to secure him in a different route because they had put a lot of money in him. Me, I think I was just supposed to be an opponent eventually. I'm possessively obsessed with this. That's why they call me crazy. It's all right.
So what's your take on this whole situation? When these two finally step in there and settle it, who do you think walks out with the victory?
Teofimo has had some great performances, great wins. Shakur is also a 3-division champion, going for his 4th. You know, unbelievable talent. It's a fight where you know we're gonna see talent from both, but we also have to see heart. That who has that heart to become the man. You know, I think that fight's gonna be more about who's smarter, who plays the better cards, and who doesn't make mistakes. Because it's gonna be one of those fights where we might not have too much action, but we're all gonna be standing up because we want to see who's gonna land and who's gonna be the one that finds those punches to land. It's a very interesting fight, and they're both in their prime. They're both, you know, that's what boxing is about.